semi-unprepared because I was away this weekend and my laptop died last week, so I did not look at weather this weekend. John Neese talked about Ken Reeves when he was here 2 weeks ago. Ken worked at AccuWeather and was a graduate of this department and a huge ally of these discussions, huge ally of our students. If any of you are curious, he died, 2011, 2012, unexpectedly and tragically, and it was devastating to all of us. But I think it's really neat. On Twitter, the Mount Nittany Conservancy, his picture is the picture for their Twitter account because he gave them a lot of time and donations. He actually lived, his house was on Mount Nittany. So if you're ever curious as to who Ken was, that's him. And you can see there he's got a purple backpack. He loved the color purple. And
yes, purple shirts.
Purple shirts. And the first few years after he died, the AccuWeather would do a Wear Purple Day on the anniversary of his death, and I think we did it here as well. But if you ever have the chance, you can look at that. And it's actually a fun Twitter account to follow because they like weather stuff, and if you ever take pictures, they'll retweet them. You can see some neat pictures. So that is dedicated to our friend Ken. One of the reasons why I was absolutely thrilled when Matt said, can you do one of these in November, and this date came up, is because historically in the United States, November 11th is known for something really important and really exciting, and that is 11/11/11, or 11, meaning November 11th, 1911. That was a day where a massive, just strong cold front plunged through the central U.S., and Oklahoma City and Springfield, Missouri both recorded record daily high temperatures that day and their record daily low temperatures that day. For me, this is fun because not only did I go to OU, but I worked in Oklahoma City a couple years later, and in 1999, Oklahoma City high temperature got close to 83. It was 81, and I remember we were all sitting watching the temperature reports come in because we really didn't want it to even tie. I think Springfield's has tied at some point since 1911, but this is one of those exciting things. And then John Neese just told me this the other day. Erie, the following day, the front moved through Pennsylvania, and Erie set a daily record high of 71 and a daily record low of 18, and that was the only what they call daily double, where you get both your record high and record low on the same day. So that was a fun Pennsylvania connection. And then the National Weather Service has a great webpage with some neat facts. So it talks about Kansas City, Missouri, 76 at noon, 11 degrees 14 hours later. I mean, this front was wild. The Oklahoma City one was 83 to 17, and a dust storm accompanied the front. Just really cool facts on here. So if you ever Google this, it's just really, really neat. And if any of you have ever been out in the plains when one of these come through, that the nickname out there is a blue norther. It's absolutely wild. I had the chance when I was in school to experience it twice, and it's just amazing. There was one time I was in the Panhandle, and I don't remember the exact details, but I just remember it was really hot during the day, and then by that night it was snowing. And then there was one time I remember being on campus at school, and we could see what the temperatures were. I was wearing shorts, and then I remember seeing that the front had gone through Oklahoma City, and Norman is just south of Oklahoma City. And I got on my bike and rode home, and by the time I got home, it was snowing. And it was just, they're super cool, and if you're a weenie, that sort of stuff is fun. And what's neat is that sort of thing is actually happening right now. If you've looked at any weather today, we've got this huge, strong area of high pressure plunging southward, and here comes the front. It's not as extreme as today. I don't know if there were any daily record highs broken ahead of this, but Oklahoma City is already down to 28 degrees. And tonight, or tomorrow morning, their low could beat that 17. But I don't think it'll happen by midnight, so I think their record low is okay. Fingers crossed, because I'll be devastated if that happens. But this cold air, I mean, look at the difference here. It's 22 degrees in Wichita, Kansas, and 65 right now in Dallas. So it's a pretty strong front, and that front is progressing eastward as well. And it's going to come through in the next 24 hours here in Pennsylvania. Speaking of records, one of my favorite websites to use right now is from the Weather Prediction Center. Have any of you used this site? They've got some really cool tools on here. Over here on the right, you see forecast tools. And for those of you, if any of you are doing any campus weather service shifts in the next day or two, this is a really cool page right here, the NDFD forecast temperature records. If you click on it, it gives you the map of the US, but it also tells you what stations may have record temperatures. So for record high, record low, a low max, and a high min. So if we click on tomorrow, it looks like there are chances, 30 cities here in the central US, let me scroll down a little bit, could potentially break records. So if we zoom in, let's go here to Indianapolis, and if you click on the Indianapolis thing, it says that the forecast is 14, the record is 14, again from that 1911 system, and their records go back to 1871. State College, unfortunately, is a cooperative, so it's not included in this data, but this is just such a fun web page to play with, especially when it comes to forecasting for this time of year. Tomorrow's high temperatures. When you're discussing tomorrow, or if with any of your forecast discussions for Pennsylvania, not only is it going to be cold, this is going to be record challenging cold. These are the high temperatures forecast for tomorrow. So if you look at the Pittsburgh number here, Pittsburgh Airport, the forecast is for 28. Their record min-max, right? Min-max is 32. That was set back in 1934, and their records go back to 1875. So I just think this is, to be able to tell any viewers or listeners, or just to be able to communicate to your audience how cold this is going to be. This is a great resource for this. Bill Syret, who just ironically walked by, gave me our numbers for tomorrow and Wednesday. Let me look them up. For tomorrow, record min-max is 24, record low is 13, and for the following day, it'll be 26 and 13. I don't think we're going to get that cold. I think we're going to miss it by a smidge. But so here we're not going to get it, but there are other cities. Okay, I should look at the screen and not there. So for tomorrow morning, not much here, but then if you look at Wednesday morning, you know, eastern Pennsylvania is going to be chilly. And you know it's cold when places in upstate New York are showing that they could possibly break records. So this is a very cold air mass. And I think it's neat that it's happening on the anniversary of the one we talked about before. Be interesting to see. I don't see Erie popping up on any. Oh, I saw Erie on that one. So Erie might for tomorrow. Hopefully that doesn't. But that's the maximum. That's not a record high, so it's not going to affect our fun Erie fact. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. Another cool thing on the weather prediction page. I always tell my students in WeatherCom to, when you're talking about a high or a low, compare it to average. And this page here is really helpful in doing that. So this is for today, and this is based on the 12Z run. And yeah, it shows the US, but it's nice because when you're saying, well, how cold is it? Well, if you look here in the Central Plains, that's at least 30 degrees below average for this time of year. So today, you can see northwestern Pennsylvania a few degrees below average, ahead of the front. It's always warmest ahead of a cold front. A few degrees above average, and then let me try to scroll through here. Sorry, I'm used to working on max. All right, so then tomorrow, we're showing high temperatures now. Look at Pennsylvania now. This is showing highs only in the 20s and 30s, except for southeastern Pennsylvania that may still be squeaking into the 40s. So when you see the colors here, that's how offset from average we are. And you can see that ridge building into the west and how warm it is there and how chilly it is here. The good news is, as we get closer to the weekend, that chill starts to relax a little bit. And still below average, but at least not as frightening. And if you wanted to look at the low temperatures, there's your low temperature for Oklahoma City tomorrow morning. They're progging it at 17, but it won't. I don't think it'll happen by midnight.
How about for a game on Saturday?
Ooh, it's a noon game, right?
Yes.
So let's see, starting out your tailgate, a little bit, you might want to have some warm beverage and warm food, because it's going to be a chilly start to your tailgate, and it's going to be a cold game.
40 now, right.
So anyway, I just wanted to introduce you guys to those sites, because those to me are really fun. Looking right now at where the front is, we're still ahead of it here in central Pennsylvania. We have winds out of the south, but not too far away. You can see where the area of low pressure is, and the cold is really funneling in. If you look in Wisconsin, temperatures right now are only in the teens and lower 20s. So this will come plowing through later on tonight. When are we expecting that to happen? Well, let's take a look. This is where it gets fun, because I haven't looked at any of this yet. Let's first look at, there's our satellite picture. This morning, if you happen to be up, it was gorgeous sunrise. Lots of reds, and as you know, red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. We have the clouds moving through. You can see some cirrus in southeastern Pennsylvania, and just from when I got to work till now, the clouds have really thickened up. The most popular click on the e-wall, according to Fred Godomsky, is this page. And you can see the precipitation there. Now start just knocking on Ohio's doorstep. But if you want to see the to see when we expect precipitation moving into Pennsylvania. I gotta make this smaller again so we can see timestamps and stuff. So this is the that's 15Z. And of course, this is just precipitation. You're not getting precip depiction. But northwestern Pennsylvania this evening after sunset, and then central Pennsylvania.
What time is that?
I think that's, see, I made it so small. I think that's 5Z, 6Z, so around midnight. So around midnight, and it looks like it could be a little heavy, but then by morning it starts to die down. We can go now to the one that everybody wants to see. But really don't expect much here, because I think it's going to be too warm in the form of rain here. But some of the northwestern counties, the National Weather Service does have winter weather advisories and some winter storm warnings up because of the lake effect that could happen then after this. So let's now see the 12Z runs. Is this too small for you guys, or should I?
It's fine.
Hopefully you can see this. My old eyeballs can't really take this. So this is the NAM from this morning. You can see the ridge out in the western U.S. trying to build, and then this is tomorrow night 12Z. Look at this plunge, that thickness there, the 510 thickness getting into the northern tier of Pennsylvania. That's, you know, we're on our way to winter. And this moves through, but then behind it, we get boring. It's quiet and cold, but kind of boring. And if we want to go zoom in a little bit more, this is the same model. Here's that, as it moves through, there's your 6Z, your 9Z, 12Z tomorrow morning. It looks like it's through. The wind's really going to start cranking up tomorrow. It'll be a little on the chilly side. I think here just have the best chance of some snow squalls, and I don't think it's really going to do much other than get the weenies in here excited like the one we saw last week. But downwind of the lakes, closer to the lake shore, has a chance. And then Wednesday, that's when the lake effect machine starts to cut off, because the wind direction changes as we go into the day on Wednesday. And even though we have this, you can see the southerly flow here on Thursday, as you guys just saw, we're not going to warm up very much. We're still going to be well below average, despite the change in wind direction. Let's look at the 12Z GFS now and see if there's anything exciting, at least for this weekend, Paul. You know, there is some sort of something happening Saturday at noon on campus.
Yeah.
So another little tiny wave tries to go through late Thursday, but it piddles out. It's my very scientific way of saying it. There is, and the Euro does a better job with this low offshore through the weekend and into next week, but for us, let's go back to the Friday, high pressure to the north, so it's a cold high, so I think it'll bring us pleasant conditions. It's just going to be cold. So the GFS just has this low sitting offshore and hanging out. You go to the Euro. For those of you who don't know, in Walker Building, you can get Euro data off of the e-wall. It's the back doorway here. You go to this northeast legacy radar. Oh, it's not letting me. Oh, is it because we're on Wi-Fi? Oh, okay. Well, we can't right now. You have to be.
My club.
Yeah, that makes me sad. When I was in my office, I could see that the Euro had a more pronounced area of low pressure offshore and ends up swinging it into New England. Yeah, there's not real. I mean, I'm sad about our weather not being.
Pivotal is starting to bring in some high-res Euro data soon. I can get some stuff from there.
Oh, okay. Let me go to. Why is Tropical Tidbits being? I just want to go here really quick. Another fun thing on Tropical Tidbits, we'll go to the NAM, the 3 kilometer NAM. And something that's fun here, if you're trying to see what the model is thinking when it's doing precipitation type, you can actually click on the panel and it brings up a model skew T. And that's really fun because you can, it is saturated, but it's got the air temperature at 40 degrees. And also important when forecasting lake effect snow is the wind direction, wind speed, making sure there's no wind shear. So that's fun, but we can then come up here and click on northwestern Pennsylvania. And so this is due to the actual storm, not due to lake effect, because you can see the surface winds are coming out of the north there. But if you go a little bit farther in time for tomorrow, when you start to see those, you're going to see more, should not see much in the way of shear, at least directional shear here on there. But that's another fun thing to play on. How do I navigate to that Euro?
pivotalweather.com/model.o. Yeah, you can get to it from there, right there.
Models, okay.
And then where it says GFS, upper left.
Ooh, that one a little too small. All right, upper left.
Go to the right,
Yep.
GFS, switch it to ECMWF high res in the left column.
Oh, this one. Yep.
We have to change the regional one.
And then you can set your zoom
Oh my,
under regional to the northeast.
isn't that fun?
And then on animation, in that same bar, change it to forecast loop. That way you can scroll through.
And can I scroll through it myself? I can. Okay.
Yes, and you can, if you want to use the keyboard, it's comma and period to go back and forth.
Oh, isn't that fun? So this is tonight at 0Z, right? No, tonight
6Z.
at 6Z. So as you can see, this is pretty fast moving. It comes in, boom, it's over. We get nothing like usual. We stay dry and cold. There's that, as I said before, the little ding dong that moves to our north. This is Saturday, so at least no horrible driving conditions to get to the game, and you're not going to get wet at the game, you're just going to freeze. And then here's this coastal thing coming up Sunday. And this run has it moving a little bit offshore, so just hugging the coast and skimming the coast.
So mixed precip in the interior of New England.
Yeah.
Southeast, southern.
They've had a fun start to the winter so far, New England. They've already. And for those of you who don't remember, this Friday, I think, is the anniversary of our snow last year, our 11.5 incher that we got. The interesting thing for me about that one was that the year before, our biggest snow was only 4.5 inches. So we started out with a bang last year, then we didn't really do much after that. It was just we've had the messy storms. Unfortunately, I'm married to somebody who went to school here in the mid-90s, and he was here for the glory years of snow. So when he proposed moving here, when he got a job offer, I was so excited because I heard about how great and snowy state college is. Yeah, that was a lie. It's great and sleety, and we get lots of grossness, and well, there's a lot of slop storms, and that's been a big disappointment because I think those are more impactful than the fun snow ones. Was there anything anybody in particular wanted to look at? I was so jazzed about this being November 11th that that's what I was focusing on. And I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty excited that because of that, there actually is the same type of strong cold front plowing through the U.S. right now. But hi, Casey. Is there anything anybody wanted to look at? I know this wasn't super exciting.
What is it right now in Denver, by the way?
Oh, let's look. So it's funny you should say that because I have a friend in Denver. She's originally from Pennsylvania, lives out in Denver. She sent me a text this morning saying, "What's with this weather? We were wearing shorts at the zoo yesterday, and now it's freezing cold." And her 3-year-old son is named Caleb. And I said, "Well, what's funny is that the Weather Channel named storms, and your cold front," I said, "is due to Winter Storm Caleb. So blame your child."
Yeah, I think it hit 70 yesterday.
13 right now,
Oh, wow.
and it looks like it's snowing there.
Wow.
That's where Paul's daughter and his grandchildren live. So they've been enjoying some great ones this fall. Holy
yeah.
cow, that's
yeah.
been Swing City this year. Yeah. The one thing about Denver, though, when they complain about that, they at least get sunshine the day after it snows.
Yes.
It doesn't stay cloudy for 6 months like it does here. If any of you are new to State College, get used to this. From now until April, this is what you'll see. And if you have blue sunny sky, it usually means it's a really cold day.
Strato QU.
What's that?
Strato
QU. It earned that name for a reason. So yeah, no big excitement other than cold. So get your hot chocolate. I don't know about you guys, but now that it's been cold, all I think about is food. And I just think about what's going to make me happy in this as we get into our long winter season. But hopefully we get some good ones coming up. Just not when you're traveling, and hopefully it happens when you're here and not when you're away. What's that?
Seems to be a theme.
It does seem to be a theme. But yeah, no big ones. Maybe tomorrow we can weenie out with the squall. We'll get lucky, but I don't know if I'm not holding out too much hope for that. I was hopeful last week, and
Yeah, so was I.
we had the little grapple thing come through, and that was about it. But hey, at least it gives us, we can weenie out together and then commiserate together when we're not happy with what happened. So, is there anything else anybody wants to look at? I apologize that this isn't super exciting. All right, well, my office is right in there, so if you ever need anything, pop in, say hello.